Al Clough finally brought down, way down there on, well, we tell you what that is, about the 8-yard, 7-yard line. Tell me I can know, the 6-yard line. Al Clough finally bringing him down after first down. Stan Wacker, who is a great pass receiver, and he picked that one off. Went on down to the 6-yard line, I do believe. Yeah, 6-yard line. So first and goal to go for the Peoria Panthers with 9 minutes to play in the second quarter. They come on to split feet. They have a flanker right. There, that power play as Miranda calls signals. Hands off to his tailback, going around right tackle. And he makes good yardage. Good second effort down to about the 2-yard line. Bringing him down there is Robert Melton for the Parker Bronx, according to my father. We'll try to pick that up for you. I didn't think Melton was out there, but maybe he is. Oh, yes, Robert Melton back there now in the backfield for the Parker Bronx. He brought him down, and but it was good second effort. And it's second down and 1 yard to go. 2nd and 1 for the Peoria Panthers to their next score. And they go right over center in there. Quarterback sneak, and he's in there. Miranda taking it over for another 6 point for the Peoria Panthers. And they are ahead now for the first time in this game. The score is 13-7 in favor of the Peoria Panthers. We had just 8 minutes left to play in the second quarter. Miranda will hold. Kicking, there's Kyle Teals for the extra point again for the Peoria Panthers. As the snap from center, the ball is down. The kick is up, and it's no good. The kick is blocked, so it's 13-7 in favor of the Peoria Panthers. And we'll be right back with
Court Mines now that fake up to the middle, and then they're trying to go around in, and that 4 times in a row they've dropped them for loss. Nobody's getting that defensive right ends.
Right, that play, they did the same thing last week more, so they stopped him every time he got that handoff. Hot again in the wishbone. Lancaster calling signals. He hands off. Oh, a fumble on a play, and Peoria recovers. Peoria recovers down on their own 40-yard line. Be first and 10 to go for the Peoria Panthers as Hope fumbles the ball. And there is a timeout on the field. With timeout on the field, Wilkes on the first down, and he's going to be smeared. No, he does get it away on the run, but it's no good. He threw that ball away if ever it was thrown away, but there was a man down there. Melvin Lewis, the man that chased him out there, and he was assisted, though, by Mervyn Scott, both of them chasing him out and almost got him.
I tell you the way that Peoria's playing, you're not going to be able to make too many mistakes against them, Vernon. Right there, we had a missed tackle where instead of at least a 10, 12-yard loss, we just had an incomplete pass.
All right, this is a well-coached team, and they work well together. And you're not going to be able to give anything up to them. All right, they come out now. They've got a break, and they're capitalizing on it. As the handoff goes to the tailback, but he goes nowhere. He's hit right at the line of scrimmage. And that's Camacho. Mervyn Scott bringing down Camacho after no gain on the play. So it's going to be third down and 10. 3rd and 10 as Camacho runs into a stone wall in the name of Mervyn Scott. It's just 5 minutes left to play in the second quarter. Now they come out on 3rd and 10. And they're in a split the flanker right. Fading back to pass is Miranda. He gets protection this time and almost completed the pass. Roger Sharp down here on about the 49-yard line and a little beyond him. But he had to throw it there because Gary Suter was covering very well on that play.
As I look out in the field, I'm surprised that I don't see Tyrone Gorman, who apparently, that I know of, he's not injured. He was playing yesterday, Vernon. I don't know what the situation, but Andy Ning has been going both ways there.
4th down now and 10 to go. So back to punt is Roger Sharp.
Wow.
And Terry Holt and Denny Rehberger back for Parker Bronx on their own 30-yard line. Sharp gets it away. It's coming down to Rehberger on a bounce on about the 30. And he's going to let it go. Rehberger letting it go, and they're going to get the ball on about the 22, 27-yard line. They don't seem to be playing with much verve, Morris.
I don't know what apparently they don't want to take a chance and get a fumble like they had before, Vern. It's easy for us to sit up there, I know, and say that he could run that, but it seemed like if he could have hustled, there was about 10 yards between him and the first tackler. Why he didn't get it, I don't know, Vern.
I don't know either. He made no try for it, and Rehberger's pretty glue-fingered. Normally, he doesn't miss many of them. All right, the Parker Bronx will break out of the huddle now on the 30-yard line. First and 10 to go. They have a D formation this time, and a handoff goes to Holt. Back over center. Now he's breaking in the clear. Down to the 40s, the 35, and knocked out of bounds on the 34-yard line. There is a penalty flag on the play. And there's a penalty flag on the play. Terry Holt going over center and bursting suddenly into the open. And but it's going to be offside, Peoria, so they'll naturally decline that, and they do. And so it's 1st and 10 to go for the Parker Broncs. The ball down on the 34-yard line. A Peoria 34-yard line. As Parker gets down deep into territory, Terry Holt ripping off 40 yards on that play. Well, almost 40 yards. Let's see, that's 37 yards on that play. A 37-yard run over center by Terry Holt. All right, now then, wishbone formation. They're waiting on the referee for something, though. Now he says, all right. And in a wishbone, 1st and 10 to go on the 34-yard line. And Lancaster hands off to Holt, who goes nowhere. He's hit hard, right at the line of scrimmage. Number 50, Brad Cook, bringing him down. Terry Holt making no gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Parker Broncs. We have just 4.5 minutes left to play in the second quarter. Now breaking out the Parker Broncs. Wayne Miller is in at left half. Terry Holt at right. Melvin Lewis at full. And Rick Lancaster calling the signals down behind center. Lancaster pitches back to Holt, going on left in. He's going to go nowhere. He's stopped again at the line of scrimmage. Hitting him there is Roger Sharp and Joe Hernandez teaming up to stop Holt, and Terry unable to get anywhere. Although that one day, was that same play over center that he went for that 37 yards?
No, that play with the end sweep, the one he went for that long yards is off tackle.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. Okay, and the wishbone now. Lancaster fades back to pass. He passes long downfield. He's in the car for us complete and down in for the touchdown. He is way out in the open. Nobody near him. A beautiful pass by Rick Lancaster to 32-yard pass to Hal Claus for a touchdown. The ball, Claus caught it on about the 7-yard line. Nobody near him. He was way out in the open. A beautiful pass play, developing very well, and the score is tied to 13-13. And Rick Lancaster getting set to try the extra point. Ronnie Mattias, the hole for him. No, he's going to pass it. He passes. No good. And intercepted. So it killed it. They tried a long pass, and I don't know why, because 7 points would have put them 1 point ahead. Now they're tied up 13-13. And we'll be at the 34-yard line of the Peoria Panthers. The score's all tied up with just 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to play in the second quarter. Now Peoria breaks out of the huddle. They are up to the line of scrimmage. Now it's split T. They have a flanker right. And Miranda calling signals. He hands off to this public address man is really throwing me because you got the wrong team. Miranda hands off to his left halfback, and he's brought down by Gary Suter after about a 5-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down and 5 to go for the
Peoria Panthers. You see, we're not too bad.
Okay, 2nd and 5 as Peoria comes up the line of scrimmage. They're in a split T with a flanker right. Miranda calling signals. Hands off to fullback, going over right tackle, making good yardage. He's but it's a fumble, and Parker recovers. Parker recovers a fumble down on the 46-yard line of the Peoria Panthers. Recovering that fumble is Danny Bieber. Mervyn Scott knocking it out of the hands of the Albert Shaw, who went over right tackle, fumbled the ball after about a 10-yard gain, too. All right, 1st and 10 to go on the 46-yard line of the Peoria Panthers. In the wishbone now as Lancaster comes down on the keeper, makes nothing. Well, maybe a couple of yards. He came over on his left tackle, and there is a flag on the play. A flag on the play, illegal procedure, and I think it should be declined, but it probably won't be. They only made about a yard on the play, but they're going to decline it, and that'll give them a down over again, but they have 6 yards to go farther.
I don't think any of these ball clubs are going to take any chance tonight, but they both want to win, so I think they're going to try to put each other as deep in each other's hole as they can.
Okay, but you remember what happened last time. It was about a fraction of an inch off from being a touchdown, honey. Okay. They come out, 1st and 15. And in the wishbone, Lancaster calling signals now. Lewis, Miller, and Holt. Lancaster on a keeper going around right in. And he comes up for about 3 or 4 or 5 yards. Finally brought down. He makes more than that. A good second effort by Lancaster with hit behind the line of scrimmage, but he straight on the man and went on. Take the ball down to the 43-yard line.
If you notice, Vern, when he started going around in, he's just about turned the end, and he's turned around and looked back for a runner. There's nobody there, so apparently somebody missed an assignment there.
Okay, a good run by Lancaster. It'll be 2nd down, 8 yards to go for the Parker Bronx. The ball down on the 43-yard line of the Peoria Panthers. And Parker breaks out of the huddle now. We have just a minute and 15 seconds left to play in the second quarter. And now they're in a high formation with a flanker left and fading back to pass and get us in the way. Jerry Holt, but over his head. I don't know how he ever passed that ball. He was just in a mid to turning around with the guy hanging on his back.
Well, I tell you, Rick, the big, strong boy, and he's the tip of the Roman Gabriel style, you know.
It really looked like it that way, Morris. The man had him by the shoulder. He was turning in the process of turning around, and yet he fired that ball just a foot off of Terry Holt's hands down on the 30-yard line. So we have just a little over a minute left to play in the first half. And the Parker Bronx have a long way to go. They break out of the huddle now. Lancaster calling signal in the wishbone. And he keeps it, goes around right tackle, and finding nowhere to go. On the 40-yard line, it'll be 4th down. 4th and about 4, I believe. Bringing him down there is Joe Hernandez of the Peoria Panthers. Joe Hernandez bring him down after about 3 or 4. It's going to be 4th down and 1. 4th and 1 for the Parker Bronx down on the 33-yard line of the Peoria Panthers. But there's just 50 seconds left to play, and Parker will have to pass here. There's no point in doing anything else unless they run it out of bounds.
Well, I don't know. The way Lancaster's running that ball, it seems like an option pass is in order, but with the type of running that Lancaster is and with the pitch out they've been running the ends very good, Vern.
Surprising. Yes, well, the wishbone has worked fairly well tonight. Peoria just has not using that defense that Gerard and Aho used so successfully to stop that running attack. They have stopped it in places, but not the way it was being stopped the last couple of weeks. So the ends have been able to turn occasionally. And Parker is running a little better tonight, too.
They are, Vern. They look real sharp.
They've come out now in a I formation. They have a flanker wide right. Lancaster does keep it. Goes over right tackle. I don't know whether he made it or not. Very close. Goes over right tackle on a keeper as they were in their passing formation. However, Lancaster elected to keep it, and I think they're going to measure it.
Measure, I believe. I'm at a measurement.
They're going to measure.
Lancaster says they have it out there.
Okay, we'll see what the referee says. All they have to get an inch over, and it is a first down. First down, the Parker Bronx, and 40 seconds left to play. That knows that ball just across there. So they still have 40 seconds to go before this one's over. And we go into the second half. They've got quite a ways to go, though. 35 yards to go.
A long bomb, though.
35 yards to go for a touchdown, and they'll have to go for the touchdown because they only have 40 seconds. All right, they're in a wishbone. Lancaster pitches back to Rehberger, and Rehberger's going to pass. He passed it, but he was hit just before he passed, and he waited just a little too long. And I don't know why they haven't used it before more, because Rehberger's a very good passer. But if he had a little bit more protection, Hal Paul's not to be about 4 or 5 yards behind that defense back there, Vern. If he had a little bit more time, we might have seen a touchdown there. Well, I don't like weighing it up, but Lancaster did not give him any support. He pitched back and then didn't block the man. That's very true, Vern.
Watch for Miller.
Okay, it's going to be second down, and Emmett Cornell says, watch for Miller and a screen. And we'll see what kind of a prophet he is at 20 seconds to go. It's second down. It's time on to see it. We're going to keep it here. We only have 20 seconds to go. And the Parker Bronx have a long way to go. As we hear a cheer now from the Peoria cheerleaders. We have a little problem with the public address system up here. He's calling the wrong tune even for a while ago, and sometimes he's very loud here, and so, sometimes we can't quite think about what's going on because of this voice booming in our ears. So we'll try to keep up. All right, now they come on a Fred formation. The Parker Bronze in an I formation. They have a flanker, Eminem, split wide left. Lancaster fading back to pass. Get good protection. Fire the pass long downfield, way over the head of number 87, John Webster. Webster was down there, but he was pretty closely guarded, and I think Lancaster was taking no chances. He fired it way down over his dead. He had plenty of protection back there, Vern, plenty of protection. They had a long time to pass, but there just wasn't anybody clear. I'm anxious to see if somebody does make a touchdown and runs into that band down the other end of the field. I actually like to see which way they're going to scatter. They're standing right behind the goal line. Hey, Emmett, what happened to that screen pass? Okay. Emmett Cornell calling a screen that didn't come off that time. But I guess you noticed that Emmett and I talked quite a bit about Wayne Middle. We have the opportunity to officiate the JV ball games that Parker plays in, and we haven't seen a ball game yet because Miller hasn't been outstanding there, whether it's defense or offense. We're pretty high on the boy, and I think Parker's got a good runner for next year. Yeah, so we're underneath them. We're losing a lot of seniors. Lancaster fading back to Pep, and this will be his last one. And it's complete to Claus, who runs out of bounds, and they still have 4 seconds on the clock. Claus grabs it at the 21-yard line, 22-yard line, runs out of bounds. So it's going to be first and 10 to go, but 4 seconds on the clock. They'll have just one play. Just time for one play before the half, as the Parker Bronze have really been dragging this one out. But they are pretty close right now, down on the 22-yard line of the Peoria Panthers. The score all tied up, 13-13. In the wishbone, Lancaster fading back to pass. And he passed a quick one out of bounds to Al Claus, and he gets out in time. So the clock stopped again with just 2 seconds on the clock up there on about the 12-yard line.
Get one now?
Not now that Emmett says, let's kick a field goal. But I don't know. They don't look like they're going to. It's second down and a timeout, I think.
And not Parker.
There we go. Emmett says, here we go. They're in field goal position now. And they're not going to do it, though. Lancaster going to try to pass. He does pass. And it's intercepted. And the man run out of bounds, so that's all she wrote. I don't know. That looked to me like it was a fake kick, but Lancaster had no time to pass. A very poor center.
No, that pass was a bad pass. I think they had about 3 bad passes tonight there because when Lancaster got that ball, he had nobody to throw it to there.
Well, I agree, and that was a very bad pass from the center. Didn't even touch on him besides a nice fade to Lancaster. So, with the score 13-13, Wales, they started marching right down the field, went across, and it was capitalized off with Terry Holt with 8.5 minutes left, going over from 2 yards out. Rick Lancaster kicking the extra point, making a score of 7-0. The Parker kicked off, and Peoria came right back like gangbusters, like we was going to have a high-scoring ball game here. And they just marched right down the field, and Greg Roberts took it over from 2 yards out. And Kyle Keel kicked the extra point, making the score 7-7. Parker received the punt, the kickoff. Couldn't move the ball. They punted to Peoria, and they once again moved right down the field. And Gilbert Miranda went over on a 1-yard quarterback sneak, putting Peoria out in front for the first time, 13-7. Kyle tried another extra point. It was blocked by John Webster, making the score at the time, Peoria 13, Parker 7. Then once again, Parker got started in the second quarter, marching down the field, and there was Lancaster's passing and the running of Wayne Miller and Kerry Holt. They went down the field, and Lancaster took the ball over from a yard out on a quarterback sneak with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. They had a bad pass from the center on the extra point try. And so Lancaster had no choice but to try to pass to Hal Claus. The pass was intercepted, making the score 13-13. From then on, we had a defensive battle, Vern, so those are stats. Thank you very much, Morris. We'll do that. Down kick going down to Camacho on his 20-yard line, up to the 25, the 30, the 35, the 40, and knocked out of bounds finally, down on the 35-yard line. He's brought down by Rick Lancaster. Rick was the man who kicked off, not Jerry Holt, but Rick Lancaster kicking off for the Parker Bronx. And bringing it back is Arthur Camacho back to the 34-yard line of the Peoria Panthers. So first and 10 to go for Peoria on their own 34-yard line. And coming out in their split tee now, they have flanker right. Calling signals, Miranda hands off to Camacho going over left tackle for about 4 yards. Danny Beaver and Melvin Lewis bringing him down after about 3-yard gain. So it'll be 2nd down and 7.
I see Rick Sellers is in at the defensive left guard now in place of Van Deneen.
All right, that's the first time we've seen that lineup. Rick Sellers, who I guess is a junior, and coming up to the line of scrimmage now are the Peoria Panthers. Again in their split two. They have a flank to right. Miranda calls signals. Miranda hands off to Camacho again, going right over center. No, it's Greg Roberts this time, and he doesn't make very much. He's hit hard by Mike Dobbs, and he makes about 3 or 4 yards on that play. It'll be 3rd down and 3. 3rd and 3 for the Parker Bronx.
We have 3rd and 4.
3rd and 3 for the Peoria Panthers. The ball resting on the 40-yard line. Now they come out in their split tee. They have a flanker right again. Miranda calls signals, looks over. Now he hits it back to the first man through. Miranda making good yardage in the 1st down. And he was hit twice, but not brought down. Finally brought down there by Ronnie Matei. Danny Beaver, and who is that? Gary Suter had a hold on him, but they could not stop him. Ronnie Matthijs came in and put the stop on him.
That fake on that end running there is go back the other way, and they're trapping Lewis in there and making fine yardage on her.
Right. It's 1st down now, 1st and 10 on the 49-yard line of the Peoria Panthers. Again, they come out with a flank to right. The handoff to the 2nd man through. Miranda makes good yardage going over left tackle, and he's hard to bring down. Now it's Greg Roberts this time, and he fumbles, and picking it up. No, taking it out of his hand, Hal Claus, and he's finally hit back at the 48-yard line. I don't know what's going on right now. We'll try to bring this up.
Hal Claus took the ball away from Greg Roberts as he went into the line, and as Hal Claus started to go around, he got over onto about the 50-yard line, and they started to tackle him. They stopped his momentum. The referee blew the whistle, but he lateraled off to Matthias, but the ball is dead at the 50, Parker's ball.
Okay, that was pretty rinky-dinky. And now Parker has the ball at any rate. Hal Claus just pulling it right out of Greg Roberts' hand. It's 1st and 10 to go. The ball up on the 47-yard line of the Parker Bronx. They come out in the wishbone. Lancaster calls signals. He hands off to Gary Holt, who's hit hard at the line of scrimmage. They have made a yard on the play. 74, just cutting his feet out from under here. Richard Larson just cut his feet right out from under him. So it's going to be 2nd and 9 for the Parker Bronx. We have about 10.5 minutes left to play in the 3rd quarter as Parker comes out of the huddle now. They're up to the line of scrimmage. Gary Holt having a hard time finding running room tonight. Lancaster calls signals. He pays back to pass. He passes complete to Hal Claus down on the 45-yard line. And Claus is right in a big crowd, but he went up about 4 feet higher than anybody around him and picked that ball off.
You know, that's real hard for him to go up that high, knowing he's going to get hit from the back and yet holding the ball, and he did a fine job.
He sure did. He jumped, and he was hit by Albert Shaw while he was still in the air, but Claus hung on to that ball, and it's going to be 3rd down, and, we'll call it 2. It's about 1.5 yards. 3rd and 2 for the Parker Bronx as Lancaster passes right over center to Hal Claus, who went up in a crowd and picked the ball up. Out. Bad play, but now he gets the pitch back to Holt, and he's hit, and he does not make he close, but I don't think he made the 1st down. There was a broken play as Lancaster ran into Melvin Lewis right at the line of scrimmage, and then finally got the pitch back to Holt, went over left tackle, and did not make a 1st down. It's his 4th and 1 yard. It's 4th and 1 for the Parker Bronx. As Sherry Holt was not his fault that time, as Lancaster could not find any room to pitch back. The broken play. All right, on 4th down, they're going to try for it. Lancaster calls signals. He hands off to Reberger. He makes it, goes right over right tackle, and makes the 1st down. He is brought down there by number 85, Hadda Tucker, bringing him down after about the 3-yard gain. So it's 1st and 10 to go for the Parker Bronx. The ball on the 42-yard line. You're right. Okay, in the wishbone now. Lancaster calling signals. He pitches back to Miller, going around right tackle, and he's hit hard by a great big man, and I'm going to go anywhere. Maybe 1 yard on the play. It's Richard Larson, number 74. and Eddie Ortega. Also Albert Shaw in there. Richard Larson, a 220-pound tackle, was the man who really put the stop on Wayne Miller, who's just a little boy. Miller, he only weighs about 160 pounds or so. Okay, it's second down, 9. Lancaster on a keeper, going on left tackle. No, he pitches back to Jerry Holt, and he takes off. He's down to the 30, the 20, now the 35-yard line. Knocked out of bounds on the 35. And that option worked beautifully. Stan Wacker knocking him out of bounds down there for first down. It's down on the, what, the 34-yard line, I believe, 35-yard line. No, 36-yard line. First and 10 to go. Or is that the 26? The 26. Yeah, first and 10 to go on the 26-yard line of the Peoria Panthers. And that option worked beautifully that time, Mark.
He handed off beautifully on that, just as he was getting tackled.
Lancaster hands off to Holt, who's hit at the line of scrimmage. No gain on that play. He's stopped by at least 3 Panthers. As Sam Wacker again in on the tackle, but several, Kyle Peel also assisting on that tackle. And 83, Roger Sharp also helping, and Sharp comes off the field. So that play went nowhere. It's going to... And Peoria takes timeout. Timeout Panthers are Greg Robert and Arthur Camacho. They're 2 catbacks. Kicking off for the Parker Bronx, going to be Rick Lancaster on the 40-yard line. 19-13. We had just about 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to play in the third quarter. As Lancaster looks over the field now, the referee makes a signal. And Lancaster raises his hand and approaches the ball. There's the boot. And it's a nice one going on end over end to the 15-yard line. Number 47 takes it. He's back to the 20. Frank Sanchez back to the 25, the 30, and down on the 34-yard line. Frank Sanchez bringing it back to the 34, brought down there by John Webster and Dean Howerton.
Rick Feller.
At the 34-yard line of the Peoria Panthers. First and 10 to go. Back now for the Parker Bronx, Danny Rieberger, Ronnie Mattice, and Hal Floss. Acting the 3 safeties. They're in a 6-3-2. 6-2-3. All right, Miranda hands off to the fullback. Coming around right, his own left end, but he's not going anywhere. He's knocked out of bounds. Hal Claus throwing him out of bounds as Arthur Camacho makes no yardies. However, there is a flag on the play. Danny Beaver hit him after he was out of bounds, so I think that's going to be 15 yards against the Parker Bronx. And we're guessing at it, but I think that's what it's going to be.
That's what it was. They hit him out of bounds. These are the type of mistake the kids make, but it's really costly, Vern. I mean, you get a defense and an offense that's rolling, and it's bad. It hurts them.
Grabbing a face mask, but I think it was against Danny Beaver, who grabbed his face mask after he was already out of bounds, really. So that's too bad. Hal Claus had him well snookered, and they had him for a loss on the play. But as it is, it brings the ball up to the 47-yard line of the Parker Bronx. First and 10 to go. And they're in an I formation, the flanker right, as this handoff goes. The second man through, and he is really smeared by Melvin Lewis. Melvin Lewis hit him at the line of scrimmage and just about broke him in half. It was number 47, Frank Sanchez, and I think he knew that he was stopped that time. Melvin Lewis really belted him. He did make a little yardage on the play, a couple of yards, so it'll be 2nd and 8.
That's what they call hard-nosed football.
Yes, indeed. All right, 2nd and 8. For the Peoria Panthers, the ball about on the 44. They come up in a split C with flanker right, and calling signals is Arthur Miranda. He hands off to Sanchez again, I believe, and he's hit. Mike Dodd hit him right at the line of scrimmage. It was Mike Dobbs, and it was Frank Sanchez again. No, I'm sorry, it was not. It was Greg Robert. Greg Robert that time, and he was hit right at the line of scrimmage by Mike Dobbs, and Mike stopped him cold. So it's going to be 3rd down and 7. 3rd and 7 for the Peoria Panthers. He got a little bit of yards on the play. All right, they come on now in a split deep flanker right. Calling signals to Miranda. He hands off to his wingback coming around left tackle, making good yardage. Breaks into down to the 33-yard line. Finally brought down there by Rick Sellers. Rick Sellers laying him down. He makes first down on the play. It'll be 1st and 10 to go for the Peoria Panthers on the 32-yard line.
Beaver was perfect position for him, but as he was getting ready to tackle, that Robert Katzer, he only weighed 145, put a good block on the Beaver and pushed him out of the play to make the growth.
That's a hard play to make run. It takes a long time to develop, and if they don't make a perfect block, they're going to get him on the line of scrimmage. All right, split the flanker right. Miranda calls signal. He hands off. Ooh, the first man through. He hit and brought down by Mike Dobbs. Dobbs bringing down Camacho after no gain. He really saw that one and stopped it cold. So it's no gain on the play. Well, he made little yardies on the play. He made a couple of feet, so we'll call it 2nd and 9 for the Peoria Panthers. They're kind of switching around their backs. A little hard for us to pick them up. Carrasco now in at fullback. Andy Carrasco has Miranda call signals on the split tee. He pitches back to number 32 going around right in. And Greg Roberts making good yardage on the play. And he's finally brought down after about 9 yards to go on that play. Gary Suter bringing him down. Suter bringing down Roberts after a good gain over right, between right tackle and right end. Greg Roberts was a good, strong, hard runner. Now Andy Carrasco comes out again for the Peoria Panthers. And they've got about 1 yard to go. 3rd and 1 for the Peoria Panthers on the split tee. Miranda calls signals. Long count now. And he takes keeper and makes it. His quarterback sneak right over the middle, and he makes the first down. Rick Sellers stopping him. He did not make much yards, but he made enough for the first down. It's 1st and 10 to go for the Peoria Panthers down on the Parker 20-yard line, it looks like. Yes, right on the 20. The 1st and 10 to go on the 20-yard line. We have just 6 minutes. No, I'm sorry. We have just 30 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter as Peoria comes out of the huddle. Just 20 seconds now left to play in the 3rd quarter. And the split team around the call signals. I think on the offsides on that play. Handoff goes to the right half, but he makes about 3-4 yards on the play. He's brought down there by Mervyn Scott after a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8 and look like timeout on the clock. And with the end of the 3rd quarter, it scores 19-13 in favor of the Parker Broncs. See the wing back right. Miranda called signals. And he hands off to the fullback. And a ball grabbed out of his hands up. No, it is not. He's tackled immediately. And brought down after about a yard on the play. Danny Beaver bringing him down, I think, 72 that is, isn't it? Yeah, that's Tyrone Gorman in, and I think that's what you were trying to tell me, wasn't it? Tyrone Gorman ends for the first time tonight. Morris was trying to indicate that because he's been talking about it all night. So Tyrone Gorman comes in place of 2 other players. Andy Ing started out there, then Rick Sellers. Now Tyrone Gorman in at that left tackle spot on defense. All right, in the split tee. Miranda calls signals. He hands off. No, he fades back to pass. He passes complete. A good pass. And he's tackled down after about 10-yard gain, but there's a flag on the play. 2 flags on the play. It must have been an offsides or illegal procedure. We'll see what it was in there. The pass was completed down on the 20. Or out on the 10, all on the 10-yard line. But there's discussion now. Offside Parker. It declined. And so Peoria's pass is complete for 1st down. And they are down there on Parker's territory, right down near the goal line. It's on the 8-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal to go on the 8-yard line for the Peoria Panthers. As we start out this 4th quarter. They come out in that same formation, split the flanker right. Trying to call signals. And he pitches back to his tailback, going around right tackle and making good yardage. Finally brought down there. Greg Roberts taking that ball. He's a good, strong, hard runner. Danny Rieberger, and Tyrone Gorman helping to bring him down. But the ball is right down there on the goal line. 2nd down and just half a yard to go for a touchdown for the Peoria Panthers. And we have just 9.5 minutes left to play. All right, the handoff goes to the tailback. I don't think he made it. He went right into the center of the line, but he did not make it. Mervyn Scott and Mike Dobbs teaming up there, and Robert Melton, also assisting on that play. Robert Melton in on defense now in place of the safety. I think Ronnie Mattice is in at right safety. Okay, now they come out on 3rd down, just goal to go. And somebody jumped there, going off right tackle. I don't think yes, he did make it. He's in there. Arthur Camacho going off right tackle for the touchdown for the Peoria Panthers. And the score is 19-19 now. All tied up. No, it was Greg Roberts again. Greg Roberts taking that ball and going over a right tackle for the touchdown. And Greg Roberts has been playing great ball tonight for the Peoria Panthers. He's a strong, hard runner and very difficult to bring down. Now for the point after touchdown. This ball is down, and it is no good. Mike Job blocking that one. And we've seen 3 block kicks tonight, Morris, and that's very unusual. And the score still tied, 19-19. Score is 19-19 as we get into 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Receiving are the Parker Bronx now. Danny Rieberger and Terry Holzbacks on the 20-yard line. Clip kick. And it's clip kick this time. The ball is laying flat on the ground. And there's a kick, little short kick, taken by number 34, back up to the 50. And, no, he's tackled there hard. That was Dennis Harper, number 34, who caught that ball after it traveled just 10 yards, is about all it traveled. Roger Sharp kicked it off, and it went right to Harper on the 50, and he was immediately tackled. Well, just barely, almost an onside kick.
Well, I'm glad the boy had just enough sense to grab the ball.
Yeah, he really got a good hold on it, better than the backfield men are doing. Dennis Harper. All right, they come out 1st and 10 to go in a wishbone. And Lancaster hands off to Rieberger, going around right in, but he's trapped and going nowhere. He doesn't even make it back to line of scrimmage.
50.
He's tackled on just behind the 50-yard line. Brad Cook bringing him down there after a yard lost on a play. That'll be 2nd down and 11 for the Parker. Well, no, they put it up on the 50 now. All right, I guess he got up there before progress was stopped. So 2nd and 10 for the Parker Bronx. Right at mid-strike. Ball right in front of us. Up to the line of scrimmage now in the whistle. Lancaster calling signals. It looked like offside there. Lancaster fades back and passes. It's complete to Hal Claus, and he gets away from a man down to the 30. Finally knocked out of bounds to the 24-yard line. As we said, Peoria was offsides, but they'll not take that. But if it is illegal motion, it'll be a bad one against the Bronx. Let's see what's happening. No, he's talking to Lancaster, so apparently it was offside. Oh, no. No, it was illegal motion, I guess. Because Lancaster is very unhappy, and they're bringing the ball back. So that nullifies a good pass and a good game. Offside, the Parker Bronx cost them 5 yards.
No, we have offsetting penalties. We have offside Parker and illegal procedure, so it's offsetting penalties.
All right. Well, I was sure the man was offside, but you never know who called him offside.
I didn't see the flag on the other side of the field, Vern. I saw it on this side for offsides, but I didn't see the other one.
Okay, thank you, Emmett. All right. I did see the offside, but I did not see the illegal procedure, which is much more difficult to see. All right, 2nd down and 10, so that play is nullified as offsetting penalties. Now they come out in the I formation, a wing back right. Lancaster friend fades back to pass. He passes, long downfield. Almost incompleted. Hey, we got a tacked and a pass interference on the play, it looks like, though. At John Webster way downfield. John Webster down about the 20-yard line. And there is a pass interference penalty on that pushing off, looked like. But wait a minute, now they're bringing the ball back. So, with something else. No, they're going to walk it off, yeah. They're walking off 15 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Spot of the ball.
On the spot the ball is passed from, so pass interference against the, I'm not sure who it was, David McClendon. David McClendon back there guarding, and he pushed off Morris before that ball got down there.
It was very, very close, Vern. Good call, though.
All right, paying back to pass again. Lancaster passes long downfield. Hal Claus complete, and he's in there for the set down. Hal Claus, a long pass, and it's complete. And Claus goes over for the touchdown. A beautiful long pass by Rick Lancaster. He passed that one from his own 45-yard line down to the 3 or 4-yard line where Hal Claus picked it out. A 40-yard pass by Rick Lancaster, and hit the touchdown with just 8 minutes left to play in the game. So the score now is 25-19 in favor of the Parker Bronx as Lancaster gets ready to kick. Oh, bad pass in center again. Lancaster fires the pass, complete, and there's 2 points on the scoreboard, and that was a broken play. A broken play, but I guess they decided to put a man down there anyway. Hal Claus down there in his right corner spot, and Lancaster fired that pass to him right in his hand. So the score is 27-19 in favor of the Parker Bronx. And we'll take that.
In a row that he had complete there, so he had 3 straight complete passes before the touchdown.
Right. Beautiful pass plays, too, by Rick Lancaster to Hal Claus, his favorite receiver. Not kicking off is Terry Holt. And, a beautiful kick. Goes into the end zone, and he touched it. He touched the ball, and it looked to me like he touched it before, went over the goal line, but the referee says no.
Well, he was in the end.
So apparently he was past the goal line when he did touch it, but that's a very dangerous thing to do on a kickoff. He touched that ball just barely past the goal line, and it went on down. He let it go. So it's going to be 1st and 10 to go for the Peoria Panthers on the 20-yard line. And the score is 27-19 in favor of the Parker Bronx. That is as good a kick as I have seen in high school football. It went clear to the goal line from the 40-yard line of the Parker Bronx. All right, they come out now. And in their split T, Miranda calling signals. He brings back to pass on 1st down. Pass is almost intercepted by Ronnie Matthijs. Wacker was downfield, the 45-yard line, and Matthijs falls down at the 40, but he was closer to it than Wacker. It was as a bullet pass, only about 6 feet off the ground, but it didn't have enough to carry all the way.
I tell you, Vern, all that head knocking that Coach Mundell had these boys doing this last week has really woken them up, both offensive and defensively. They look real sharp.
They have looked very sharp, especially in the second half, Maud. All right, breaking out of the huddle. This time they split an end, 2 ends wide right in their split T. And calling signals now. Miranda fading back to pass. He passes. No, it's in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Melvin Lewis down there to bat it down. Who was that slit end that they went down for that? Stan Wacker again. Stan Wacker coming down from his split end position. They split both ends very wide that time. It looked like a obvious pass play. But he was clear in the open, although he was only about 5 yards downfield. But the ball goes incomplete. So 3rd down and 10 for the Peoria Panthers on their own 20. They come out passing. Now fading back to pass on 3rd down is Miranda. He passes, and it's no good. Short of the intended receiver at the 30-yard line.
Terry, the last 2 times these teams have met, they've met back in 1955 in Parker Homecoming. The score was 0-0. Last year they met again. The score was, 12-12. And so actually the last 2 times nobody has had a pigeon. So these games have really been close.
You're right, Morris. They really play head-to-head football, Peoria and Parker. And now Roger Sharp to boot one back on his own 10-yard line for the Peoria Panthers. And he takes his time, gets a nice boot away, going high up, hanging, coming down the 45 and taking a Parker bounce, going back to the 40. And nobody tries to down it. Now they down it, finally, on looks like the 41-yard line. As it hit on the 45, goes back to the 41-yard line. So it's going to be 1st and 10 to go for the Parker Bronx. Well, let's see, about the 42, I guess, the Peoria 42-yard line. So it was a pretty good kick, but it took a long bounce for Peoria. Now Parker break the huddle. They come up the line of scrimmage in the wishbone. Who's in the back? Can you tell the other back, Mark? Lancaster hands off to Holt. Harry Holt going over right tackle, but making very little yardage. They never did bring him down, but they did hang on to his leg for a long time. Harry Holt made a yard on the play. We'll see what the referee says. 2 yards on the play. 2nd and 8 for the Parker Bronx. As the handoff goes to Holt, and he goes over right tackle. But going in, Danny Rehberger and Terry Holt now, and Melvin Lewis in the backfield. As Lancaster calls signals, hands off. No, he keeps it. Oh, now he pitches back to Danny Rehberger, and Rehberger makes 2 or 3 yards, fumbles, and I think Peoria recovered the ball. Danny Rehberger fumbling that ball, and Peoria recovers. So there's a break for the Peoria Panthers. Richard Larson picking that ball up for the Peoria Panthers right on the 40-yard line. So 1st and 10 to go for Peoria on the 40. And I don't know, it didn't look like Rehberger was in position like that. Lancaster waited a long time on that Upton, but didn't look like Rehberger was in the right place.
It was a good pitch out there, but I think the kid grabbed a hold of his arm and pulled the ball out of there, Vern.
All right, 1st and 10 to go on the split T, flanker right. Miranda calls signals. He hands off to his left half, going over left tackle for maybe a yard or 2. Brought down by Tyrone Gorman and about 4 other Parker Bronx, including Luke Patch. Okay, that's going to be 2nd down and 9. Well, Second and 8. We'll let the public address announcer have it this time. He's a little bit closer than we are. Second down, 8 to go for the Peoria Panthers. The ball on the 42-yard line. They break the huddle now up to a line of scrimmage. And that split T with the flanker right. Miranda barking out the signals. He hands off the second man through, and he goes nowhere. Hit the line of scrimmage, and Tyrone Gorman bringing him down there. It looks like no gain, but maybe a foot or two on a play. Luke Pat's also in there, as Gorman and Pat's have been making a lot of tackles there in that center of the line.
Since Gorman's coming in, they've stopped that left side. They're stopping that Pat play a lot better down this quarter, Vern.
I'm looking for him to try to turn that end again with Roberts, so
that ought to be it, sir.
Okay. They come out now on third down and 7, third and 7, and they split it in wide right this time instead of a flanker. Our flanker is wide right, I should say.
Yeah, pass right.
And fading back to pass, he gets it off, and it's complete for first down, and he misses the tackle, and down to the 45-yard line is Wacker. Stan Wacker. And Melvin Lewis finally bringing him down after about 12-yard gain. Ronnie Mattice, I think, was the one that missed the tackle. So it's going to be first and 10 to go for the Peoria Panthers down on the Parker Bronx 45-yard line. We have 5 minutes left to play in the game as Peoria now threatening down on Parker 45. They break the huddle on first down, a flanker right. And Miranda calling signals. Miranda looks over the defense. Now he pitches back to Roberts coming around right tackle, and he's hit from behind by John Webster and drags Webster for about 2-3 yards. And he makes 5 or 6 yards on the play. John Webster making a good tackle on that, though. 5 yards. It'll be second and 5 for the Peoria Panthers. And Parker stopping those sweeps a little better. That Greg Roberts, boy, he is hard to bring down. All right, second down. They come out. Miranda calls signals. Same formation. Long count. Now he hands off. Oh, hit hard by Luke Pat. Pat gets him before he gets to the line of scrimmage. As a handoff went to Camacho, Arthur Camacho, but he went nowhere. But there's a flag on the play. And way back in the backfield, I don't know what happened. The flag is back on the 28-yard line of the Parker Bronx. And it's going to be against Parker. Penalty against Parker. We'll wait and see what the referee says. 15 yards is going to be. And that's a bad break there because Parker had held him.
The boys are trying to console Danny Rieberger out there, and apparently there was a little bit of elbow throwing out there in that defensive backfield.
Personal foul called on Danny Rieberger down at the 28-yard line of the Parker Bronx. And that's a bad one because they had held this offense very well. Now they're down in scoring territory. They split a flanker wide right and an end wide left. That Wacker splits the left. Now the referee's going to explain the penalty to John Mundell, the Parker coach. Okay, because all it was personal foul, and he told him what he did, certainly. So now they come back, and it's going to be first and 10 to go. And again, they have a flanker wide right, and Wacker split wide left is the F. And a split P. Miranda calling signal on a pass formation. He does not pass on a keeper, goes right over center, and he makes good yardage, and goes up for 5 or 6 yards. Finally, Gary Suter, or John Webster, rather, and Danny Rieberger teaming up to bring him down. Make good yardage on the play. Miranda with the keeper going over center, and it'll be second and 2 for the Peoria Panthers as Mitakawa now is shuttling his backs, bringing out Greg Roberts. All right, they come up, and they're going to run it, looks like. They're in their split T flanker right as Miranda calls signals. And he hands off the first man through, Camacho, and he doesn't, well, he makes yardage. I don't know whether he made the first down or not. Tavada says yes. And he's about 50-50 on his throw, so it is a first down, and he's right on this one. First and 10 to go for the Peoria Panthers down on the 17-yard line. 18-yard line of the Parker Bronx.
Okay, Vern, this series of plays is very important to Parker. They cannot ill afford a loss or even a tie.
All right, 3 minutes left to play. The Peoria Panthers are down. First and 10 to go. And Miranda pitches back. And Greg Roberts going into the clear. No, now he's grabbed and brought down by Al Claus. Al Claus grabbing him, but he backed over right in for good yardage. At the last time. Oh, it's first and 10 to go for the Parker Broncs on the 50-yard line as they definitely tried an onside kick that time. But the ball went out of bounds. So Parker takes over on the 50.
Yeah, 3 more timeouts.
Parker has 3 timeouts left. Peoria has 3 timeouts left. Not likely Parker will be taking any timeouts. So 3 more timeouts on the clock for the Peoria Panthers. Well, I don't think they'll try to take them until they get the ball, if possible. And Parker is certainly not going to be doing any razzle-dazzle play here. Lancaster comes out calling signals. He hands off to Lewis. And Lewis goes on good yardage. Dot center, makes about full 5 yards on the play. 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6 to go for the Parker Broncs as Lewis goes over center and Peoria takes their first time out. Down right in. Got the back upfield. Down to our first down. He finally brought down at Rehberger make the first down, and that'll make it tough on Peoria. He's down to the 39-yard line of the Peoria Panthers. And it's first and 10 to go for the Parker Broncs, and that means the clock is going to keep running. And they've got 4 more downs now to run that clock out. Again, they call a timeout, and there is 1 minute and 10 seconds left on our clock. We don't know how much Al Claus, and Claus becoming a great receiver as they get toward the end of the season. He picked off passes that were very difficult to catch. So Parker pulls one out, 27-25. And the defense sputtered a little in the first half.
How else your point? And then right back again came the Peoria Panthers with Greg Roberts going over from 1 yard out at 10 minutes left in the third quarter. The extra point was blocked by Dobbs, and we had quite a bit of blocking here on these extra points. The score was back up to 19-19 again. And Parker came right back again. Lancaster to Claus, the combination there, they went for 35 yards with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And then on a bad snap from Scott to Matthias, Lancaster passed to Claus with a 2-point, making the score at the time 27-19. Then with only a minute and a half left in the ball game, Arthur Camacho went in from 1 yard out. They had to go for the 2 points. There was no other way they could do it. They could not ill afford a lot. Peoria couldn't. They tried. And
very good tonight. That's about as scrambling as I've seen Claus all year. He picked off some passes that he had to work for, and he managed to get clear just about every time they went down in the pass pattern.
Well, I think, we could throw to him high most of the time. Sometimes Hal doesn't get open as easy as he could. I don't think he fakes quite as well as he could, but he's come ahead of a long ways, and I'm pretty happy with the way he's been playing, especially the last 3 games.
Well, he looked good on defense, too. He made a couple of key tackles there. However, some of your regulars didn't look quite as strong on defense this week as we have been expecting them.
Lyman.
And that will be the goal to your right as you face your radio dial. Fossa will defend the south goal. Morris Savata was just talking and saying that Tollison moving into